great satisfaction comes from sharing with others. And the culinary passion that France and Japan share can be explored through the scallop dish.
The scallop is cooked to perfection. It is delicious with just the right amount of brininess from the homemade seaweed butter. What a fantastic dish.
One popular ingredient we cannot avoid to mention has got to be tuna. This majestic fish has played a highly significant role in Japanese food culture. And here, Chef Konishi has taken this ingredient to a whole new level.
The tuna has been marinated in sake, soy sauce, and sesame oil before it is wrapped with black and white sesame and pan-fried to perfection. With a strong umami flavor and a slightly astringent taste, the tuna goes really well with the wasabi mousse. You can say that the French have a passion for poultry. If you think about it, dishes like foie gras or coq au vin or roasted quail are dishes you often see on French menus.
There's one poultry that you haven't mentioned yet, the duck. The duck is a fundamental part of traditional cuisine in many regions of France. And guess what? Japanese chefs love to use this humble ingredient as well.
Sourcing ingredients directly from France, Chef Konishi uses his skillful cooking techniques to make this duck dish one of his signatures. Not only is it delicious, but it's also photo-worthy.
The duck is glazed with honey and spices before it is roasted to juicy and tender. And then it is served with orange parsnip puree and kumquat and jalapeno, a dish that well demonstrates the East meets West sensation.
Another excellent example of the East meets West sensation is this pingyun chicken, a dish that is inspired by the Chinese 8 treasure duck.
Sourced directly from a local farm, the 100-day-old chicken is cooked until juicy and tender, and the stuffed lotus foie gras rice has an added bit of style à la française to this exquisite dish.
If you've traveled to Japan, you know the Japanese love French desserts, and this dessert says it all.
In this beautiful dessert, the chef topped the coconut sorbet with pine nuts and kaki. By combining different elements from the two countries, he created an interesting mix of textures and flavors. What a little work of art!
Not only do these dishes satisfy your palate, but they also allow you to discover the culinary cultures of Japan and France. What a great taste journey!
Every single gin, there are basically no other restrictions to what a distiller can or cannot put. So you can really feel how creative the spirit can be. And every single bottle is completely different, telling a different story. And now, especially with the rise of craft gins, the flavors can go in totally different directions. And that's why it's such an interesting spirit. Besides juniper berries, it's very common for distillers to add whatever botanicals they like to kind of tell their story. For me, I wanted to create a gin that was well balanced, which meant that there isn't one particular flavor that kind of overpowers everything else. I also wanted to make a gin that was very complex, so there's a development as you drink it in the palate. And lastly, I wanted to make a very sippable gin that didn't need other tonics or mixers to enjoy, which is why I chose 12 different botanicals. They're sourced from all around the world, but 6 of them are actually from Asia. So just to kind of show people that although gin is a very traditionally Western kind of spirit, even if you incorporate Asian botanicals in it, you can still create a really, really nice gin. Gin distillation is really all about craftsmanship. So from the recipe development to actually monitoring the entire distillation procedure, the distiller has the responsibility to maintain that kind of quality and to ensure that every single batch is consistent and up to standards. And that requires a lot of time, a lot of patience, and a lot of concentration really to ensure that every single drop of gin is consistently good every single time. And to me, it's really a chance for myself to kind of tune out from the outside world. It's where I can put 100% of my concentration in the distillation process, and it's something that I really enjoy.
There are many methods for distilling gin, and the method chosen can affect the flavors of the alcohol. It all sounds pretty fascinating. Let's talk to an expert. Now, Dimple, the whole time I've been here, I've been admiring the still, which is a beautiful piece of machinery. Tell us more about the distillation process.
So the distiller is in charge of, all the procedures, from weighing out all the raw materials you need in advance to, preparing the still ready for distillation. We chuck all the raw materials into the still, and then we close it up and we start the heating process. And the vapors that start to rise, they go through various stages, from flavor extraction to purifying to finally condensing, where the vapors are liquefied back to gin, and that's where we do the collection. And every single part is super crucial to making good gin, and it really just requires a lot of attention.
What about the duration? How long does it take?
So the entire distillation process takes about 5 to 6 hours. It makes about 100 bottles every time, so it's a very small batch handcrafted gin.
Since you guys are manufacturing in small batches, how do you ensure that every bottle is always consistent? And also, what do you do to make sure that the gin is always smooth and easy to drink?
So there are a lot of different factors that affect the quality of gin. So for example, the raw materials you use, if you get the really good quality base spirit and the botanicals that are rid of impurities, and you use a really, really good still, you've got the basics down. But of course, throughout the entire distillation process, it's super important for the distiller to monitor every step of the way to make sure that the gin is of really good quality. So factors such as rate of distillation, temperature, water pressure, all of that affects how the gin comes out. And it's really just monitoring it every step of the way to make sure that the quality is up to standards.
When we mention gin, a lot of us naturally think of the UK, which is natural because admittedly some of the best gins in the world come from that country. But it's actually believed that the Netherlands was the first to manufacture gin back in the 17th century. I see. Cheers to that. After the break, enhance your well-being in a serene sanctuary.
With all the celebrations, gatherings, and dinners over the past few months, Fron, I think I need a bit of time to just disconnect and relax.
I totally agree with you. Celebrating with close friends and families a lot of the times is filled with joy and lots of fun. But when your scheduling for the holiday season is packed up back-to-back with gatherings, it can get quite exhausting.
And that's why it's always important to know when to unplug and when to find time for ourselves. And Fron, I think today is the perfect day for us to get properly pampered. To fully unwind in style, we need a thoughtful space layout. Privacy, harmony, and tasteful designs are elements that many look for when it comes to serene relaxation.
This gracefully decorated space has a balanced use of diverse materials. It will surely win over any guest's hearts, don't you think?
Oh yes, everything from the light-filled courtyard, the green wall, to the marbled interior. An aesthetic of tranquility just permeates the whole space, creating a perfect spot for an urban getaway.
I'm all ready to embark on the wellness journey. Let me try the essential oils. These are great elements for massage treatments. How about mandarin and frankincense? I love the combination of these two. Smells so great.
As for me, I'm going to start off with a facial treatment that targets on men's skin health. But before we jump into the treatment process, the consultant suggests I should go through a 3D skin analysis first, so I can gain some basic understanding on my own skin, from pore size, skin tone, to even, wrinkles. Not that I have any though.
The way that we develop the menu is to cater toward the population here in Hong Kong. So knowing that there are many factors that add to levels of stress. Stress on the skin and stress on the body, stress on the mind, stress in your emotional well-being. So things like our Goa facial. So this is catering toward, specifically toward gentlemen, because gentlemen aren't really invested as much as the ladies in their skincare. And so we wanted to bring something forward that was relatable, that addresses the environment and how their skin will react in the environment. So the Goa Skincare Facial is what they call an anti-vice. So as you age and depending on your lifestyle could involve stress, fatigue, pollution. And so this line in particular was developed to give back to the skin as the environment is taking away from the skin.
People nowadays recognize the value of mindfulness more than ever, and that is why sound healing is getting more and more popular among the health-conscious crowd.
Some believe bathing oneself in sounds from singing bowls and chimes, along with guided meditation, enable a person to focus on his or her present feelings. This kind of meditation also facilitates positive change in not only mental well-being, but also digestive health.
So holistic wellness means taking care of an individual from the inside and the out. When we meet a guest who would like to have a well-being experience, we're looking at their overall well-being ecosystem. And we base this on 5 pillars, which is emotional well-being, fitness and nutrition, physical therapies, skin health, and community. So for example, if a guest were to come to have an experience with us, we would look at their overall well-being, sit with our resident practitioners who would then have a conversation with them on what their goals and outcomes were, and determine, for example, if they were suffering from stress, maybe that guest would need to work on mental stability and mental balance first of all, and then work into physical and fitness and nutrition, and then finally ending up with some community programs as well.
I really enjoy different types of wellness experiences. The first thing I do in the morning is meditation practice, whether it's with guided meditation recordings, with music, or just in silence. I think it's great because our body goes back to a neutral state, and whatever difficulties or challenges that we have to face in the day, we have a clarity of mind.
I tell you what, Fran, this place is such a happy place for me. I'm already feeling a sense of inner wellness. And the treatment I had was so heavenly, it had me relaxed in no time at all. Having said that though, Fran, I think it's time for us to fulfill our next priority. Shall we go grab some healthy bites?
Sure.
Look at the great variety of nuts, dried fruits, and seeds here. Apart from the nutritional benefits such as protein, antioxidants, and fiber that they carry, their flavors are also naturally delicious.
Your physical body is what carries you along life's journey. That's why it's always important to make conscious food choices that nourish the body. And be sure to make time for self-care too.
China is indisputably the largest producer of tea in the world. But guess what, Lina? Research shows that the first on the top drinking countries list is Turkey. I've always thought that coffee is their favorite.
Well, actually, drinking tea and coffee is a way of life in Turkey. And you know, offering tea and drinking tea together is actually a gesture of friendship.
Right, so now I know what to order when I travel to Turkey next time.
That's all the time we have for this week's episode. If you want to find out more about what we have introduced, remember to log on to our website.
Are you ready to take the next step in our sweet journey? In the coming weeks, we will continue to relish the beautiful things in life. Besides enjoying the best in the culinary world and giving your taste buds a tantalizing experience, we'll also show you ways to change things up with your fitness routine. And check out the essence of Asian massage. Join us again next time!